Greetings. Welcome to the second edition of Bud Pepper's Favorite Southern Recipes. Today we'll be making or reading about making cornbread and southern cornbread dressing, both delicious for Thanksgiving. First, you must start with the cornbread. You will need 1 cup of white self-rising cornmeal. We prefer the Martha White brand if that's available. Any brand would probably work. You will need 2 beaten eggs and 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Start by greasing a pan big enough to hold the cornbread. I prefer to use a cast iron skillet myself. I think it just seems to work better. Preheat the greased pan in an oven at 450 degrees. Leave it in the oven while you're preparing the batter. You will then mix all of the ingredients listed in a bowl, adding a little bit of water or buttermilk until you just achieve a thick pourable batter. Once you get a thick pourable batter, put on a glove and remove that hot pan from the oven. Pour the batter directly into the pan, replace it in the oven at 450 degrees and let it bake for 25 minutes. After it is baked, remove the pan and let it be cooling because you'll need this later. The second part is the actual dressing recipe. You will need 1 large chopped onion, 1 stalk of celery chopped, 1 slice of bell pepper, and I define a slice as being about 1 inch wide in the length of a fairly large bell pepper. Chop that up. You will also need chicken stock, which can be made by boiling 4 chicken drumsticks in salted water until the meat falls off the bone, or as an alternative you can just use a can of store purchased chicken broth, which is a little easier, but you get about the same value. If you do the chicken stock homemade, it's always good to add some of those chicken pieces into the cornbread stuffing itself, dressing. First thing you do is saute all of the vegetables in a little bit of oil in a pan. Add the chicken stock to the vegetables. Continue cooking. Bring it to a good boil and cook the vegetables until they're tender. Then you will take the cornbread that has cooled off, because you don't want to grab hot cornbread. Put it into a large bowl and break it up with your hand or with a large spoon. I just like to use my hand. It seems to work better. Then you're going to pour the vegetable broth mixture that you have just cooked onto the cornbread. Pour it on there a little at a time, working it in with your hands or maybe a large spoon, and you want to work that just until you get the consistency of kind of a dry mashed potatoes. You don't want it too liquidy. You want it a little bit more on the dry side. Then you can add a dash of poultry seasoning or a dash of sage and also a dash of salt and pepper at that point. Then you put that into a large pan. I like to use a cast iron skillet for that also, by the way. Bake in a 450 degree oven until it's browned on the top. You're going to then check it for doneness by using that large spoon and poking it in the middle. And if it's all liquidy, you want to stir it all up real good, smooth it back down with that spoon, and continue baking at 450 degrees until it's browned on the top. If you check it a second time and it's still a little too moist, you can stir it and do this a third time if needed. If you've made it a little on the dry side, you shouldn't have to do it another time. Once it's browned, let it cool. It's ready to be eaten. And that's basically all there is to Southern style cornbread and Southern style cornbread dressing. If you have any questions, well, you can ask them on my YouTube site here and I'll try to answer them. Other than that, happy cooking, happy Thanksgiving if it's coming up where you are, and hope to see you again on the next episode of Cooking with Bud Peppers. Thank you.